cricket, a gentleman's game, respectful, polite, but not when it comes to the Ashes.
Oh, there you go.
143-year feud.
Oh, yes.
Marked by centuries,
Incredible scenes.
collapses,
Oh, he's got another one.
and bad blood.
This could well be out.
There's cricket, and then there's the Ashes. Sorry guys, don't know what came over me. The Ashes, live only on T&T Sports.
Welcome to the Everywhere We Go podcast. As you can see, we are not in our usual studio in sunny Chesterfield. We're actually in the wonderful Barmy Army HQ, the Globe, here in the CBD in Perth. And I am not with James Gregg. I have a much prettier, much more knowledgeable, much more interesting co-host today, Mr. Daniel Norcross. He's been on the show a few times.
Poor James. That's not fair, James. If you're listening, he doesn't mean it really.
Yeah.
Yes, I have been on the show a few times, and I'm very much looking forward to having a bit of dissection and letting you know what it's like out here. It's a little chillier than we'd hoped, but look, it's going to be warmer than Chesterfield, so no one here is complaining.
One thing I would like to say to everyone that has come up to me on this tour so far, thank you for the well wishes about the podcast. It's very nice when when you're doing something behind a screen or recording and people actually come up to you and say how much they enjoy the show or enjoy what you do. It's very, very nice to hear. And a few shout outs. We've got Tosh from Perth, an expat group, who was delighted to tell me how much he loves the show. Most importantly though, the fella at the bar at the pre-test party, I can't remember his name, came up to me and said, I love the podcast. Are you James?
Oh no. So mind you, I have something similar happens to me because I'm on the radio a lot, right? And my voice is not massively dissimilar to Agger's. So the number of times I've actually signed Jonathan Agnew's name on a piece of paper, Mr. Agnew. And so you think, oh, sod it, I'm just going to sign his name. Yeah, so there's a whole load of fake Agnew signatures out there.
Yeah. And there's a couple of Broady ones in India when I've been hanging around out there. So on the same vein. So thank you, Dan, for coming in and talking to us.
A pleasure.
Can you tell us a little bit about the T-shirt that you've got?
Yes, I'd love to. Right. Well, it's an Andy Warhol version of the greatest Englishman who ever lived. And his name is Douglas Jardine. Many of you will be familiar with him. Those of you who aren't, you need an education in him. He went to Australia in 1932. At that time, there was Donald Bradman, who is arguably the greatest sportsman who has ever lived. His numbers are so much better than the next best player. And in a previous Ashes series in 1930, he'd scored triple hundred at Leeds. He'd been the scourge of England. Australia had regained the Ashes, and the whole world was agog at his brilliance. And it took this man, this genius, he watched a little bit of video footage of him at the Oval in 1930, and he hatched a plan. He famously said, "I've got it. He's yellow," by which he meant he saw him just back away once for a ball by Harold Larwood. And then was born the legend that is Bodyline, when England went down to Australia in 1932 and they thrashed them by bombing Donald Bradman. And I felt it was appropriate because England's best chances of winning this Test series are with their 4/5 pronged pace attack. It looks to me to be a very similar situation. Big, tall men banging it in hard, as they did in the first innings at Perth. And so he is my inspiration. I should be carrying him everywhere. He's close to my heart. And there is a
Quite
picture.
literally.
Yes, exactly. Just here, there is a pencil drawing of this man in my sitting room. He sits underneath me, and when I don't know what to do or think, I say, "What would Douglas Jardine do?" He would start a war with Australia.
And in 1932, did they lose the first Test in 2 days?
Unfortunately, they didn't do that, but they did lose the second Test. So they won the first, they lost the second, and then they won the next three. So they won 4-1.
Amazing.
And England can still win 4-1.
We all believe. We are the Barmy Army. That's exactly what we are here to do. We'll be supporting right the way through. But taking it back to that first Test, we're not going to get too into the detail. That's not what this podcast is about. But it was a difficult Test match. I described it earlier as one of the best days of Test cricket I've been involved in the last 10 years, and then one of the worst. Is that fair?
Well, yes and no. I mean, to me, it was two of the best days of Test cricket ever. It's just that you've got to take the patch off the other eye and then give Travis Head his credit, because that was an innings of sublime brilliance. You know, we talk a lot in the commentary box about when will England's fastest 100 record be beaten. Gilbert Jessop set that back in 1902 with an innings of around about 74 balls. Travis Head got his in 69. And I know some of you will be going, well, it was a dumb plan, and why did they bowl to him like that? It doesn't really matter. Those are details. He was absolutely brilliant. There was another bit, look, I'm going to give the positive spin first.
Absolutely.
Because everybody is obviously a little bit bruised. I say everybody, actually. The Barmies have still got, their morale is very high. But at lunch on the second day, when England were 99 ahead, 1 wicket down, having bowled brilliantly in that first innings, we all thought, hang on a minute, Australia are all over the place. Usman Khawaja has done his back playing golf. Isn't that ironic? So he wasn't going to be able to open the batting. Nathan Lyon looked a bit crocked, like he did it, not as bad as at Lord's 2 years ago, but, he was limping, wasn't he?
In the field, yeah.
And we thought England had got him on the ropes. And the positive to me is that in the last 3 tours of Australia, England haven't had Australia on the ropes in any single game, at any point in any single game. They went toe-to-toe for 1 day at Brisbane in 2017, and that's been about it. So, looking at how well England did up to that point, yes, you can then say there were 3 not great shots. Ollie Pope, Harry Brook, Joe Root, those 3 shots within 10 minutes when England lost 3 for zip. That did for England's batting innings, but they showed a lot of spirit down the lower order, picked up, a partnership of 50-odd between Gus and Cars. And we thought 204 might be enough, but then we just got blitzed by an absolutely brilliant innings. So Travis Head's not going to get away with it every time. No. England are obviously good enough to put Australia under enormous pressure. I firmly believe that this series is going to be really tight and we're going to get thrilling cricket all the way. It's just a shame that it only lasted for 2 days.
Yeah, we've got to hope for more than 2 days moving forward for everyone, I think it's fair to say. But talking about Ashes cricket, it's been a while, 8 years since we've been back here, and it's been a long time coming from a Barmy Army perspective. What's Test cricket like when there's an Ashes on compared to a normal Test match overseas? As someone who's done a lot in India and Pakistan, what makes it so much different to be out here in Australia with the fans? Well,
let me start with India. It's great when the Barmies do come to India, but they're always outnumbered. So, what happens is there's a massive cheer whenever India gets a run, right? And then there's complete silence when they lose a wicket.
And if it's a big player, they all leave.
Exactly, yeah. They all, once Kohli's out, off they go. In that game at Perth, I was nipping out every now and then, because, look, I've got to be honest with you, every now and then I have a cigarette, which I know I shouldn't, it's very naughty. But in Australia, you have to leave the ground in order to do that. And I honestly could not tell when I heard cheers whether that was England taking a wicket, or England scoring 4 runs, or Australia getting a wicket. The crowd was mixed.
Yeah.
I walked around the concourse a couple of times. The atmosphere was just electric. Finchie's trumpet is obviously a big part of that, and the songs that everyone's playing. But also the atmosphere between the fans. You might imagine there's some antagonism, but it isn't like that. The Aussies actually love it. When I was walking in on the morning of the game, the first day, there were this group of Aussies, 5 of them in front of me. They didn't know I was English. I was sitting behind them, standing behind them. And they were discussing their favourite Barmy Army songs.
Brilliant.
They're like the ones they like to sing along to.
Awesome.
And they even enjoy Saw You Cry on the telly. They quite like taking a piss out of Steve Smith as well. So it's just unique. You don't get anything like it. Obviously the weather's good as well, but you get a whole load of people who are just in this really state-of-the-art theatres. They're amazing stadiums, aren't they? Isn't it? The Optus is an amazing ground. And the fans are all in it together, and it's what cricket's supposed to be. It's, this isn't supposed to be like a football match where you've got like one group of fans at one end and one group at the other, and it's a bit antagonistic. We're all supposed to be in it together, all enjoying and, just loving cricket. And that is what is unique. And with the best win in the world, I've done games in Karachi, and the Barmies came out to that. Actually, there weren't very many Pakistan fans, so it was a gaggle of Barmies and almost nobody else. Yeah. But it's kind of empty, it's a bit soulless. Whereas this was 51,000 people, as excited can be. And the tension, the action, it's second to none.
It certainly is, and for me, quite a poignant moment during that first test was the first Jerusalem on the first day. It was, you could hear a pin drop when we were singing, there was a lot of respect around the ground and a ripple of applause coming from all over the stadium, which for me, I had to step back for a minute because I was like, it's a big project. We've been working on it for ages, quite emotional feeling. But there's an element of respect in there from the Aussies that love it and love to be a part of it. So I do agree with you on that. But I guess despite the result, the Barmy Army is going to grow throughout this tour. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get better. The players think it does have an impact if it gets going, but we need to go a bit longer than 2 days for us to seriously get behind the guys. From a commentator's perspective and from a media perspective, is it quite challenging sometimes to talk about any other part of the fans other than the Barmy Army? Because I know you're going to try and be fair.
Yeah.
And sometimes the England fans and the Barmy Army comes in. Is that true, or is that a bit of a myth?
Look, I mean, the Barmies are such a massive part of it because of the theatre that they create. And, going back to Finchy on his trumpet, they actually set the tone. They decide the songs and the noises that come out. Because the Aussies, they're great fun, but they don't have that. No. So, they're reacting like a standard crowd. But, look, we have to be balanced when we're on BBC. We have to be less balanced with Australia than we do with other teams because Jim Maxwell's on BBC and he's the least balanced commentator I've ever worked with. So the balance is actually to rebalance Jim. But, do you know what I mean?
How'd you get on with that?
Oh, easily. That's not a problem at all. If England taking wickets and Jim's behind me, I'd let him know. But, we've got the Richies as well. Yep. So, they're a presence. And they're often quite uniformed up as well, aren't they? They're often wearing their replica kits, the Aussies, so you kind of see them in their groups. But there's other England fans here as well as the Barmies, and they're making their own noise and their own selves heard in their own way. We just pick out whatever's there. The crowd in Australia is a really rich source of commentary because you can see loads and loads. It's a bit like when we're at Edgbaston and we're always going on about the Hollies. Or at Headingley, we're going on about the Western Terrace. And it's just because stuff happens. And, you wouldn't be doing your job as a radio commentator if you don't point out that, Donald Trump is being chased by the Pope around the Holly stand,
Very good. And just should point out that it's not the real Donald Trump for anyone. No, he wasn't there last year.
Or indeed the Pope, for that matter.
Well, it might be Ollie.
Could have been.
So, talking about the day before the Test match, we had a fabulous day at the Wacker. We had over 700 people in to watch the Barmy Army. Unfortunately, they lose the first game of the Bashers. Probably set the tone. None of us can deal with these bouncy wickets in Perth, can we?
It's only by a little, though, wasn't it? It's only 5 or 6 runs.
Yeah, it was, 5 runs.
Away a winning position, 68 off 10, wasn't it? You needed?
Yeah, and they did have the captain of the Perth Scorchers come out to bat for them.
I think that is cheating. I'm not quite sure how Ashton Turner is allowed to play in that game myself.
Yes, they were 9 down when he came out, and they stayed 9 down for the rest of the game. So.
Well, I'm not surprised. He's pretty tasty, isn't he, Ashton Turner?
He certainly is. So we went on from the Wacker. We went over the road to the Camfield, a fantastic venue just outside of the Optus Stadium. Dan, you hosted the Ultimate Ashes party. Quite a big job. There was just over 1,000 people in there. How did you find the first Barmy Army party of the tour?
I absolutely loved it. I didn't know what to expect, I'll be honest with you, because obviously it's the first time I'd done that.
Yep.
And I'd spoken to you guys. You were really well organised. Lovely Ryan Lewis, he was helping me out. All of the guys here were helping me out. We had like a running order. We did a little rehearsal to get ourselves into the spirit of it. But before I did it, I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. You might argue that after doing it, I didn't have a clue what I was doing either. But the adrenaline was pumping. It was so much fun, right? So we had this Q&A first up with a very boisterous Graham Swan, who had a lot to say.
He did, didn't he?
He really put it to the Aussies, didn't he? And he actually also put it to Sir Alistair Cook as well, which was a bit harsh. But he said something along the lines of, now you understand how boring Alistair Cook's team talks were, which because poor Cookie, But we had Darren Lehman as well for balance, who was great.
He was.
Great sport, played along really well. And then for me, the highlight of the night was Barmy Bingo, because I knew about it theoretically, right? You'd told me about it, but I'd never hosted it or seen it in action. Yeah. And it's bonkers. I mean, it's absolutely mental. So, I mean, it sounds like, bingo's not supposed to be mental, but bingo's supposed to be a kind of drab man standing at the front of stage going, 2 fat ladies, 88, and then a bunch of retirees, a bit myopic, stick a pen down, and then 5 seconds later...
How is it different to that then?
Oh, well, how it was different from that was that after every 3 or 4 numbers, the number would correspond to a player's shirt, say. So let's say Zach Crawley's number 6, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And if number 6 came up, Finchy then plays Zach Crawley's theme tune. We got Dylan on the DJ behind, so you got this wonderful backing track. We had this massive screen. We got all the words for everybody to sing, and basically, best part of 1,000 people are suddenly bellowing out Barmy Army songs at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, fairly well fueled by then.
Yeah.
And it was just brilliant. My voice was hoarse by the end of it. I was absolutely gone. But, you know, it was brilliant. What a way to start the Ashes, you know. It really got me into the spirit. And there were some Aussies in there as well that were singing along. You could see them smiling at the madness of it all. I mean, the Barmy Bingo took the best part of an hour, but it kind of flew by in my mind because Finchy's a genius, isn't he?
He's so good, isn't
he? I mean, what kind of a musician is he? He's like, that trumpet is an extension of his body, basically. And, you know, he doesn't have the music there. He doesn't have anything to crib from. It's just up comes the number, bangs out the tune. We got the backing track. We got all the singers. It was like, honestly, I felt like a rock star. I was like bouncing around on a stage in front of a load of people singing along. So, yeah, thanks for having me, by the way. It was really good fun.
No problem. You did a fantastic job, and nobody would have known it was your first time doing it. So, absolute kudos to you there. I actually had a moment with Finch in this test for the first time ever where he didn't know the tune to a song.
Oh,
that was because he couldn't stand the band. It was an unnamed journalist sent me a song for Steve Smith on the back of the Monty incident. And it was the whole In Your Head.
Right.
Monty. And we said, Finchy, can you play it? I think it's the Cranberries, is it, In Your Head?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And he went off on one at us saying how much he couldn't stand them. The screechy voice.
That's right.
I refuse to listen to them. We're like, Finchy, no, you never do this. Like, what's this? Computer says no, so unfortunately...
I can understand that, actually. It's Dolores O'Riordan, isn't it?
Yes.
In your head.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
It's that one. It's that one.
Yeah.
So. I know, it drives me mad, that song. So I can appreciate why he did, but at the same time, we'll work on him, yeah.
Yeah, so sorry, Will, if you were listening to this. So we weren't able to get it off the ground for you.
It's a good idea, though. It's a good idea for a song.
Great song, isn't it? Yeah, we try. We'll get there, I think. We'll work on him. So, looking ahead now. We have to look ahead. We are the Barmy Army, always optimistic and positive. So, we go to Brisbane. It's a pink ball test. Can it last less than 2 days?
Well, actually, it could, but I don't think so, because there's a couple of things that might be around that we haven't really factored in. Pink ball test in Brisbane's a great idea, right? Because I'm just going to quickly go off on one about Queensland.
Go for it.
So, for those of you who don't know, we've got lots of different time zones in Australia because it's very wide. Okay, so here in Perth, we're 8 hours ahead of GMT. Go over to Melbourne, Sydney, it's 11 hours ahead. Brisbane is 10 hours. There's no reason for it. It's still on the East Coast. So it gets dark early. And they were supposed to have daylight savings time. It was put to a vote. And the Queenslanders, I kid you not, there are 2 reasons why they rejected it, right? Do you know the reasons for this?
No,
This is hilarious, right? This is hilarious. The first reason is that they thought the cows would get confused by the change of time.
Start laying down all the time thinking it's raining.
Well, you know, I had no idea that Queensland's cows wandered around with a wristwatch on, you know, and weren't able with their hooves to change it forward.
That sounds so Australian.
It's so Australian. and then the next one is equally Australian, which was the extra hour of daylight would fade the curtains. Of course, there is no extra hour of daylight. There's the same amount of daylight.
That can't be true.
It's true. Those were the 2 reasons given by the majority of Queenslanders for not approving daylight savings. Now, the reason I mention all this sounds like a long preamble so I can slag off Queensland. It isn't that. What it means is it gets dark about 6:15, 6:30 or so in Brisbane, doesn't it? And the game is starting at 2 o'clock.
2 p.m, yeah.
2 p.m. So twilight is going to come really early in the day, right? You know, we're going to get over a session a bit, which you don't normally get. When we had Adelaide and it started at 2, twilight came about 8:30, didn't it?
The last session was pretty dark.
You got about an hour of it when it was super dark, and you got about 3/4 of
Some
an hour.
good moments in that test match.
There was that too. I mean, Anderson, Wokes, under lights were fantastic.
The famous Smith review.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Situation when he forgot that he'd lost them all.
Oh, yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry.
Did you flow?
Yeah. But we'll have more of that. However, so that's the one side of the ledger. So that might mean, wickets could tumble. Because it's really hard to see this ball sometimes. I speak as a commentator, And we all have the same problem. We struggle just as it starts to get dark to see where it goes, especially square of the wicket. And when you talk to the players, they say the same thing, that actually it's not so bad when it's fully dark, but as it becomes dark, it's really hard to pick up. So that could be a problem. But you know Brisbane, when does the rain come in Brisbane? It's always around about 6:30, isn't it?
Yep.
Because it's tropical up there, so you get this build-up of heat, and then boom. So I'm not quite sure how much. We'll either get loads of darkness and chaos and mayhem, or we might get no darkness because they might just go off for rain the whole time, in which case we might get a 5-day test, which is all played out in the light, which would be really, really spooky.
So I think what you're saying is we could potentially be playing in the conditions could be different every session.
Yeah.
Is that hot, humid Brisbane first session? Twilight would be a little bit dewy, maybe a bit rainy, thunderstormy, and then the third session dark.
Exactly.
Nighttime
completely
cricket.
dark, absolutely proper dark. Yeah.
Wow.
So it is going to be, that will challenge the players a lot. Now, Australia have got a lot more experience than England do in playing day-night games.
Yes.
So that is a tick on their side of the ledger. But on our side, and I'm going to come back to it, we bowled unbelievably well. In that first day, I don't think I've ever seen an England team bowl that well.
I agree.
And if you were thinking that you had to bat against Jofra Archer, Bryden Carrs, Gus Atkinson, Mark Wood and Ben Stokes, in that darkness, in that twilight, no one's going to fancy that.
No.
So, everyone says this is Australia's game because they're brilliant in the pink ball. Mitchell Starc will be a handful. Pat Cummins may well come back. But Jofra Archer's going to be a handful. Gus Atkinson's going to be a handful. They're all going to be a handful. So it could be dramatic. I don't think it's going to be run-drenched.
No.
But does that... Look, I know all of us love a 4 or 5 day test match, but we're here to watch exciting cricket. And
we love an England win more.
We love an England win more. And if England can win in 2 days, I don't give a stuff.
Are we going to see Pat Cummins back, do you think? Is that the word on the street?
I think so. They may take the view that because they've won this game, and actually Brendan Doggett bowled pretty well, didn't he?
Yeah.
In fits and starts, and Scott Boland got his mojo back. They may think, give him an extra test to make sure he's absolutely perfect. But I think they've been managing him for this moment. He said he was 90% coming up towards Perth, and he'll have been doing loads more work, and they're itching to get him back out in the park. I saw no sign of Josh Hazlewood yet, which is a big plus for England because he is a petrifyingly good bowler. And I don't think we need to be scared of Cummins. He's going to be rusty,
Yeah, quite right. So predictions time for Brisbane. We're going in still the optimist. Dan, can you give us a prediction for the test?
Well, yeah, I think I don't think the toss is going to be as important as people say. I think it's just if you can bat that first session in a bit so that you're in and that ball's a little bit softer, then it gives you a better chance of getting through the darkness because that ball's then a little bit less nasty. If England can do that, win the toss and bat, then I think that will give them a small advantage. But if not, their bowling is so hot right now that I think they could do a number in Australia if they bat first. And Stokes loves to bowl first because he loves to chase. I think...
Were you surprised that he didn't chase?
I was, actually. I was surprised, but the numbers told him not to. But I think the thing with England is that, look, we don't bat time, do we?
No.
And I don't mean that disparagingly. It's just the way we bat.
Yeah.
So actually, if you bat first at Perth, it's because you're looking to bat the first day and a half and a bit more attritionally. In England, we're never really going to do that. I'm not saying it was a mistake. I mean, the numbers said bat first because the pitch gets worse. But unfortunately, the pitch can't get worse in 2 days. You've got to take the game deeper than that. So I don't know. I wonder if he might think my best weapon is my 5 fast bowlers. If I win the toss, just give me that pink ball, let me get at them immediately, let's see. But a lot will depend on cloud cover, a lot will depend on conditions when we get there, we just don't know. But if the rain stays away, I think we're looking at a 3 and a bit day test, which could go either way, but I'm confident England can win it.
Brilliant. And who's going to be the star player for England?
I think Gus Atkinson's going to be a handful on that.
Nice. Love it. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for your prediction. Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to get a special guest on the show in just 1 minute, but stay tuned. We are going to bring you many more podcasts throughout the series. I'm going to have guest presenters with me, replacing the wonderful James Gregg, who will be at the darts for the BBC.
Lucky bugger.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I think he says we're lucky. So,
Well, yeah, true, fair enough. Can you be in two places at once? It's tricky, that.
You never know. If it's 2-2, I reckon we'll see him in Sydney.
Yeah, I reckon.
Cool. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for coming on.
An absolute pleasure.
Right then, we'll break away from the podcast as we are bringing our partner, the Post Office, have provided the sponsorship for this podcast, Dan. And we know that lots of people are either here in Australia right now or heading down under for the Ashes. And let's be honest, it's not a cheap place, Australia, is it? It can hit you, can't it?
It really can hit you. And one of the ways it can hit you is, of course, spending your own English money when you're here. You've got to try and find a way of making sure those transaction fees aren't painful for you. The Post Office Travel Money Card, well, it's a bit of a game changer. What you do is you put your Aussie dollars onto the card. You don't have to pay any fees when you spend it abroad in the local currency. And right now, if you register for the offer on the Barmy Army website, load the travel money with at least 1,000 Aussie dollars, you'll get an extra $50 added to the card.
And to be honest, it's good on the current exchange rate, isn't it? We'll do all right with that.
Well, absolutely. And that extra $50 is not quite a night out, but it's not far off.
Yeah, absolutely. So bonus celebratory drinks at some point throughout the tour, or a little souvenir to take home maybe.
Yeah, what was it, like a fluffy koala?
A quokka, I'm thinking.
A quokka, yeah, well, exactly. Where better to look for a quokka than here? But, there's more as well. You'll also get access to member-only currency offers, MasterCard priceless experiences, even a friend's referral bonus worth up to £100 if you get 10 mates involved.
Plus, it's good to know that there's a 100% refund guarantee if your trip gets cancelled, very similar to... if a day's play doesn't happen, it's quite common.
Or 3 days.
Or 3 days. So subject to the terms and conditions, you'll get your money back at the same exchange rate. Just hang on to your receipts and evidence of cancellations and send it to them within 28 days.
So, whenever you're heading off to Australia, sort your travel money the easy way. Visit barmyarmy.com/partners/post-office to find out more, and you can grab your $50 Aussie bonus.
Welcome back to the Everywhere We Go podcast. Myself and the guest co-presenter Dan are joined by Peter and Rob. And Peter and Rob, we met a few days ago at the Barmy Army pre-test party.
We did.
A fabulous event, and I must thank you both for grabbing me as I was walking past and saying you're a fan of the show. It means a lot to hear that. We put this out so members like yourselves can listen to us on the airwaves and bring a bit of cricket to wherever you are in the world. But you're here in Perth for the first test. Peter, you are a blind member of the Barmy Army. We're absolutely privileged to host you, and we're so glad you feel part of our wonderful organisation. Can I ask you both, why you travelled with the Barmy Army, what your experience was like in Perth for the first 2 tests, and what you think to it all?
Right. Well, why we travel with the Barmy Army? I think we just thought it was an interesting way to go. We've been with rather sort of posh tourist groups in the past, which we've enjoyed. So we've been in 06, 07 and 13, 14. So we've now seen 11 games between England and Australia, and we haven't seen us win yet. So it seemed if we were
there's many of us like that.
If we were going to have a good chance, we ought to go with the Barmy Army. The one thing I would say about going with the Barmy Army is it's bloody noisy.
I think the players say the same. They seem to like it. So, what did you think then to the first couple of days in Perth? Clearly not the result we wanted, but how was the experience?
Well,
yeah, Rob, go.
After the start of the first day, 12 o'clock, looking a little bit ropey. I wasn't overly confident. End of the first day, confidence back up again.
Yep.
We were in fine voice, couldn't hear them. What an atmosphere, brilliant. Obviously the second day, what's to say, beaten by 2 players, I believe, a shame. Yeah. But the whole experience and the atmosphere where we were sat, the crowd, the following, the passion, it's been intense.
I mean, regardless of the result, that was 2 days that you packed in 5 days into
know.
2, didn't you? Really?
That's what we were thinking. We said that if this, I mean, you think, well, we've paid all this money, and it's going to end in 2 days, and then you think, how many days cricket, especially the first day, 19 wickets. I mean, that's a world record, isn't it, Dan? I think
it's the most for the first day of an Ashes test. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that, and yet it wasn't silly cricket. It just happened that way, and Australia, it felt that they were completely intimidated by our fast bowlers, which I mean, it was like watching the West Indies bowl. It was like, in the days of Walsh and Ambrose and
That's
Marshall.
exactly what I thought, and I think that's what I'm taking encouragement from, because when you said that, you almost had a little laugh in your voice when you said they were intimidated by our fast bowlers, because that's the wrong way round, isn't it? I mean, basically we're supposed to be intimidated by them.
Yeah, but
sorry, go on.
No, you go.
Well, yes, absolutely. If they're their full attack, we would have been certainly more worried about it, but not one bowler put a foot wrong. I've not seen anything like that in cricket. Not one bad bowler.
And they can't forget how to do that, can they? I mean, that, like you say, Dan, I think if they've done that once, they can do it again. What happened on Saturday afternoon was freakish, really. Quite why it happened, I think it's up to Mr. Stokes to explain that to us, because I don't, because he's such a big personality. You expect him to be able to reverse that, and yet he was part of it, wasn't he? I mean, he was.
It was his plan. Can I ask you, as a blind man, were you having it explained that they've gone short, they've gone for the short ball, they put all the fielders out? Because it was a plan, wasn't it? It was a different plan from the one that had succeeded in the first innings.
It was, and that I couldn't really understand that. I mean, when I go, obviously I take a radio, because I don't listen to it all the time, because I want to get the whole sense of the crowd and what's going on around me, and I talk to Rob about it. But I listen to radio as well. And actually, I was listening to 2 or 3 sources, because you get the little earpiece radios that you can buy in the ground, where you're listening to. It could be ABC, or it could be one of the other stations.
SEN or Triple N.
One thing that you can't get, or it's difficult to get, is Test Match Special, which I wanted to get really. But that it's tricky in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm afraid you need. I'm allowed to say so. You need a VPN if you want to listen to the BBC.
Oh, yeah,
They're a sponsor of the podcast.
Oh, NordVPN. NordVPN is one of the best VPNs.
Yeah, but no. So I got a sense of that. But you also it's odd, really. As you asked me as a blind person, you get a sense of the confidence pouring out of your leaving your own team. It was almost like they thought, what the hell is going on? It's almost like they didn't know what was happening, or how to reverse it, or how to change it.
Well, I think that is what happened, because in fairness to Travis Head, and I know it's not easy being fair to Australians all the time, or indeed any of the time.
It was a fabulous thing.
It was amazing. I mean, I've not seen anything quite like that. Have you guys?
No.
Stokes at
Stokes at Headingley. But that was all at the back end. I mean, the thing that happened with
Leach, that was what was different. But to do it from the front end, opening, and to say, right, we've got the worst of this. Because I was at 3:00. When we were a bit before 3:00, just after lunch, when we were 100 ahead with only 1 wicket down. You thought, we've got this. Because not only are we 100 ahead with 1 wicket down, we've also got Aussies who are scared of our fast bowlers. You think, what's to stop us?
Travis Head was there to stop us.
We didn't know that at the time, did we?
But he wouldn't have been opening if Khawaja hadn't played golf. I mean, it's so unfair, isn't it?
That's the excuse for Khawaja, is it? I've heard several rumours as to what his was, but
he had the
it could be coincidence, but he played golf. He's played golf the day before. He had a back spasm, which apparently he didn't bring the injury into the game with him. But he then, I don't know if you saw, but there was, I think it was Gus, went for a cut shot. It flew over the top of slip, and Khawaja dived to have his head for it,
Yeah.
and then he exacerbated it. So then he walked off, and then that was curtains for us, as it turned out, because we had to deal with an inspired Travis Head. He won't be inspired every time, though. You can't get away with that every time.
He was in bad form, wasn't he?
He was.
I understand it. He hadn't got one score over 40 in the previous 20 innings. Is that right, Dan?
I think so. You're very well informed.
Of course. I did try to stay informed. Yeah.
Now, am I allowed to ask him a question? Now, the very first time I ever commentated to anybody was at the Oval in the Pavilion. There was a blind man there.
Yeah.
Lovely fella. And I was 18 years old, and he asked me to commentate for him.
Right. So does he go into a match without his commentator?
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't
Very
it?
careless.
Well, he had many friends around him, and he had very acute hearing, as I dare say you do. Now, I imagine it's quite hard in a 51,000 people stadium, but in a county championship match, when there's only about 600 people and he's in the pavilion.
300 if you support Hampshire.
Well, sorry about that, but yeah, but this 6,000 if you support Surrey.
This was only on the first day of the season. You didn't do it after that.
We did. We had a 6,000 against Essex. Yeah, we're not going to have a. We won't. This is the Barmy Army. We're together. Let's not forge rifts between ourselves.
Indeed, but it's part of the fun, isn't it?
So it is.
Yeah.
So I was sat next to him, and he said, "Daniel, can you commentate this over for me?" And I can't remember which fast bowler it was, but it might have been Tony Gray or Sylvester Clarke came charging in, and I said, he's hit that down to third man. And this fella said, I know he's hit it down to third man. I can hear that. I just don't know if there's a third man. And I thought, oh, yeah.
Bit here, I think.
So, well, I know I did ask him. So I said, if you're so clever, you tell me where this next ball's gone, right?
Right, yeah.
And he said, that's gone through cover. And it had, right? He'd got it through cover. There's a blind commentator called Dean Duplessis,
in Rhodesia.
That's right.
In Zimbabwe.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. I've interviewed him.
Right, and he gets it right a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Now
I'm gonna go on.
So I've
got a funny story to tell you about this, which is the reversal of what you're saying. But go on.
Well, so I just wanted to ask, because one of the things that I do, and one of my producers has asked me why I do it so often, is when I commentate, at least once and over, I'll describe the field. So I'll say, in comes Atkinson, 2 slips, gully, cover point, extra, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a long leg. And he says, why do you do it so often? I said, well, because when I commentated that blind guy at the Oval, he didn't know where the fielders were. So I thought, when we're on the radio, everybody's blind on the radio.
Right.
So I've got to do that. Is it helpful, or am I being silly?
No, it is helpful. Yeah. I mean, I don't try that hard to get a complete picture of the field, because there's just too much to go into your head. But it is helpful to hear that. Certainly, I mean, then whether they're attacking, whether they're backing off a bit, moving players away, towards the boundary. So it is helpful. But you know Kevin James.
I do.
You know Kevin.
Yeah, well, Kevin James. He's a commentator for Hampshire, if you're wondering.
Yes, he is indeed. And I worked for Radio Solent for a while, and so I got to know Kevin quite well. And I used to go up in the commentary box, and I persuaded him in the end to let me commentate on an over.
Oh wow!
So I did commentate it. I can't tell whether the ball. Frankly, I can't tell from the shot alone whether it's gone in front of the wicket or behind the wicket. And I don't think there is a reliable way, if you're blind, to know that. Because you can perhaps behind the wicket you might glide the shot rather than really hit it full on, but you can't guarantee that, can you? I mean, if you swivel and hit the ball hard behind the wicket, it sounds exactly the same as if you do a straight drive.
Oh, does it? Right.
It does.
Right.
It would, wouldn't it? It's a bat hitting a ball.
Yeah, well, you see, we kind of think that blind people are like bats and have echolocation, Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. There is echolocation. No, echolocation is true. But I think if you're sitting in the ground and you're in front of the wicket, I don't think a shot played in front of the wicket I think I can tell a straight drive. But even then, I'm not sure whether I'm kidding myself. I
suppose,
not.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be sure.
You can't be sure. I went and did a commentary on Kevin. And we reckon I got 4 out of 6 reasonably accurate. But I think I might.
Better than some of your lot.
I might have got.
Sorry, that's better than Blowers in his last couple of years, I tell you.
I talked to Blowers about that doing commentary when he clearly couldn't see what the hell was going on. No, he didn't. He was he was quite brave of him to do the interview because I worked for a programme for blind people, and so I contacted Henry and said, "Can we talk to you about the fact that you clearly can't see the game?"
Was that before or after his retirement?
Much to my surprise, he agreed. He was still commentating at the time.
Fantastic.
We just played examples of where he hadn't got a clue where the ball had gone.
Brilliant. Thank you, Peter and Rob, for coming on the Everywhere We Go podcast. A real honour to have you on the tour. Hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy your afternoon in sunny Perth. It could be worse. We could be in England, couldn't we? So
Could be. Weather's not been amazing, has it, though, for the last couple of days? So,
and we're going to win in Brisbane.
We are.
Yes.
We are.
Yes.
We are.
We're
Absolutely.
going to Brisbane. So,
yay!
yeah.
Quite right. We'll turn it around, make it 1-0 in Brisbane. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're most welcome.
Pleasure.
This podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Budgie Smuggler. Now, Finn, winter has arrived in the UK. It's dark, it's a bit cold, it's a bit gloomy, but it does mean one thing. It means that the Ashes are back. And we are continuing our partnership with Budgie Smuggler throughout the Ashes series. So what we've got for our listeners and for our members is we've got a 20% discount. Site-wide, Budgie Smuggler UK. Go on there, get set for the winter.
You're laughing. You've got the winter range for. We understand there's going to be members that can't get out to Oz, and we need a winter collection. So when you're tucked up at 2 a.m, you've got a new hoodie, new fleece.
I mean, look at some. We've got some of the range here. It's absolutely perfect for winter.
Yeah.
Getting up in the middle of the night, bit cold, but I'm going to watch the cricket. Where's my Budgie Smuggler hoodie?
Exactly. And then we've got to cover the polar opposite. So enlighten us. We've got the summer range.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So obviously, some people can't go out to the Ashes, but some people can and can experience that. And there's an amazing product range for these people. You've got T-shirts like we've got on, some of the cricket range here, and then you've got obviously the trademark budgies. Just show them up. They're the Australian ones, and we've got the English ones here. I mean, we had a gentleman's agreement that we wouldn't put the viewers through that.
for the sake of the people.
For the sake of the people. But they're an amazing product, and yeah, it's making sure that you've got stocked up with that gear for when you're going out to ours, if you are lucky enough to do so.
100%. And then obviously we've got the 20% discount site-wide. Just go to www.budgiesmuggleruk.com and just pop your discount in. It's going to be available for the whole series. And treat yourself. Just have a look around at the beautiful gear.
Yeah, I mean, code Barmy Army couldn't really be simpler. Just at the checkout, whack that in, you'll get your discount. Valid to the end of the series. But Finn,
we've been debating the idea.
Yeah, and we're working close with Budgie. See if we can get some limited edition offers there. Yeah. We can't make any promises, but we might have some limited edition offers. So for now, check out the Budgie range. It's absolutely quality. Winter stuff. You've got your warm weather stuff. Couldn't be better.